Episode 4 is coming very soon, and we'll definitely talk about it. But today, let's dive deeper into episodes 5 through 9 and their potential release dates. Right now, we've got some facts and clues that give us an 85 to 90% chance of predicting the release dates for all the remaining episodes. And let's go chronologically, starting with episode 5. We're pretty confident that episode 4 is dropping on December 13th, exactly 2 months after episode 3. This prediction is backed by several factors that I'll break down later in the video. One of the biggest reasons, though, is Glitch's current priority, the amazing digital circus. Right now, it's the only show they're actively working on. Plus, its popularity is unmatched, even a year after its debut, something no other indie show has achieved. This could be a huge motivator for both Glitch and Gooseworx to maintain and amplify this success, potentially pushing indie animation further into the mainstream spotlight. Now, as for episode 5, there's been some less than reliable info floating around, suggesting a January release. While I think that's unlikely, we can't completely rule it out. However, a more realistic guess would be mid to late February, just as winter comes to an end, giving a poetic finish to the season. One thing we've known for a while is that episode 5 will focus heavily on Ragatha.
Oh, this place is spooky. I wonder how hard Kane's gonna go with the scare factor.
We know quite a bit about her. Ragatha is kind, sweet, and responsible. But what's most intriguing is her constant need to justify herself or somehow gain Pomni's trust.
Oh, and don't worry about the whole abandoning me for the exit thing. It's perfectly understandable what you were going through at the time, and there's no hard feelings. You're all good.
But all of this is overshadowed by the fact that we have no idea what Ragatha's true intentions are, or why she's so determined to befriend Pomni. If we think back to the opening scene of episode 2, the doubts about the sincerity of Ragatha's words and actions only grow stronger.
Oh, thank you, Pomni. I just want to make sure you're doing all right. You know, we care about you.
Episode 6, of course, sparks even greater interest since it will focus on Jax, one of the most intriguing characters in the TADC universe.
Don't ever call us that again. So what was it like being stuck with the nutcase?
It wasn't that bad, actually.
We've determined that episode 5 is likely to drop around late February. Following this pattern, episode 6 can be expected closer to late April 2025. You might argue that previous episodes had longer gaps between them, and series like Murder Drones were released less frequently than every 2.5 months. However, back then, TADC wasn't the main priority, and Murder Drones were coming out alongside the amazing digital circus. Now, with TADC as the sole focus consuming the creator's resources, time, and budget, the average gap between episodes is expected to be around 2 to 2.5 months until the finale. In episode 4, we'll get a closer look at Jax's interactions with several characters, including Gangle. By episode 6, this dynamic will reach its climax, revealing the ultimate consequences of all the bullying and tension.
All right, Gangle, when we catch up to him, I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot him repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
I feel like that violates some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver!
So, Pomni, I'm sure there's some way you could help out here. Maybe when we catch up to them, we could...
Gotta be assertive. Like this!
Hey! Jax!
We'll also finally learn why Jax is always so calm and tends to show more negativity than positivity toward the other inhabitants of the digital circus.
What's happening?
It's just Kaufmo. Don't worry about it.
Kaufmo abstracted?
Nah, he's fine.
Episode 6 is also intriguing because Gooseworx recently shared a few details about Jax's existence in the digital circus, and all these leaks seem to tie neatly between episodes 4 and 6. We'll learn that Jax will be tormented, that he will do something terrible, that his desire for someone's death will come to light, and that his unshakable calm demeanor will finally break, all of which adds layers of intrigue. As for episodes 7 and 8, we're likely to see them around mid-June and late August, respectively. I don't believe these episodes will bring anything entirely unpredictable. Most likely, they will delve deeper into character relationships, aligning with Gooseworx's original vision. After all, every episode so far has left us with a storm of new emotions and revelations about the characters, things we never could have imagined. Few, for instance, would have guessed that Kinger became the King of Madness for such a specific reason.
I'm normally not too good with memories, but being surrounded by darkness always brings me back to a certain time. Right after my wife had abstracted.
Episode 9 will be a symbolic conclusion, wrapping up Pomni's long journey, which began on October 13th, 2023. It would be a perfect symbolic date, and a well-timed one, if the final episode premieres on October 13th, 2025, exactly 2 years after her first encounter with the cursed digital circus. Considering that there won't be a second season, the story will need to reach its definitive ending in this episode. If we recall the final scene of the pilot episode, an intriguing theory begins to form. We realized that escaping the digital circus might be possible, and perhaps that scene was an early hint at how the story might conclude. By the end, all the residents of the digital circus could come to understand that Pomni's seemingly incoherent words were, in fact, a profound truth.
Wait! Was that an exit door I saw out there? Is that a way to leave?
What exit? If there was a way to leave, I'm pretty sure we'd have all left by now.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like I said, we can't not talk about the hottest topic in the digital circus right now, Episode 4. Some people still don't believe the release is happening on December 13th, even though everything is pointing to it. What do you think? Is December 13th the real deal, or are we just getting hyped for nothing? And aside from the release date, there are a few other things about the new episode we should dive into. Gooseworx keeps revealing more details about Episode 4, and this time, I got my hands on a leak where Goose, in their usual style, talks about a random line in each episode. For Episode 4, the line is, "What kind of mother do you think I am?" Many fans immediately thought these words refer to Ragatha, which would make sense given her behavior in each episode. It really does seem like she might want to play a motherly role.
Oh, and don't worry about the whole abandoning me for the exit thing. It's perfectly understandable what you were going through at the time, and there's no hard feelings. You're all good.
Here's an interesting theory involving a character we've only seen once, Orbsman. We know for sure he's going to play a key role in the upcoming adventure, but as for how he fits into it, that's still up for debate with plenty of theories flying around. I'll dive into a few of those soon, but first, let's focus on what Gooseworx said. It's entirely possible that this mysterious line could relate to Orbsman's mother. Picture this. Orbsman could be an average teenager whose parents dragged him to a fast food joint. Somewhere during their meal, something set Orbsman off, and in response, his mom hit him with that line. What kind of mother do you think I am? And most important leak we've gotten is the list of characters that each episode is centered around, and Episode 4 is all about one of the most mysterious characters, Gangle. At first, I thought this might be a pretty boring episode. Like, what can they really tell us about Gangle when there's someone like Jax, who you could write a whole book about? But after thinking about it, I realized we know almost nothing about Gangle, and she really doesn't get the attention she deserves in the digital circus. Why is her real face the tragedy mask? Why does she only seem happy when she's got the comedy mask on? And why is she so fragile? What makes her stay silent every time Jax messes with her? And why is Kinger her closest friend? As you can see, there are tons of questions, but almost no answers. Recently, the Japanese TADC account posted an interesting post revealing a new leak from Episode 4. In this leak, we see Jax in a familiar look.
And let's not forget about minimum wage labor!
But this time, all the other characters are also employees of a fast food chain. But the question is, will they all be working at Spudsy's, or will they be spread across different restaurants? We got a sneak peek of Zubul with a very interesting arm, and it seems like, once again, Zubul is unhappy with her body. But this time, that dissatisfaction won't save her from a new adventure. Take note of Gangle. She stands out from the rest, looking more like a manager than regular staff. What do you think about Episode 4, and what are your assumptions and theories about the new adventure? I'm looking forward to your responses in the comments, and for now, see you soon in the new videos.